Hi. Husam. Family's good. How are you? How's Denmark? Good. Welcome to another episode, live stream of Antoine Anonymous. We had one just last Saturday, but I figured I would do another one now because last time I did Saturday was good. Alhamdulillah. Si Dieu le veut. In French. Yeah, everything is good. I'm gonna, while I wait for some people, I'm gonna get some stuff to talk about. Oh wow. Another abstract one. Whoops. Whoopsies. Whoopsies. All right. Here's one here. Yeah. So what's going on in Denmark? Usam, why are you even there? Oh wow. This spot is weird. That's interesting. All right. Let me find this out. So, everybody else in the chat, let you guys let me let you guys be known. Okay, one second. I gotta do this. What's that? Oh God, that's a crazy one, guys. For the reading, I'll give you guys a choice. All right, I'll give you guys a choice. So, one second. Yeah, because every week, what I do, every time I do a live stream, I find a reading that is that I read and that I share, and then we can talk about it together. Hussam, my parents immigrated back in the 70s. I was born and raised there, originally from Turkey. Oh, that's cool. It's awesome. So you speak Denmark. You speak Denmark, Arabic, and English. Sorry, guys, that just came in. I'm just chewing. It's my last bite. Protein bar. Okay. So, Antoine Anonymous. It's like online support for drug addiction and recovery. And I went through it myself. I got 4+ years clean. I started my recovery in 2015. So I got 10 years of experience of ups and downs. What's up, Jake? I hope you're good today. And I created this, I don't know, we got a bunch of live streams done now, but we've been going on for a few months, I guess. A couple of months at least, 3 months. And the goal of this is to help others and then also help myself to give back so I can keep receiving the gift of recovery. This is why I'm doing this. Okay? Turkish, Danish, and of course English. Nice. That's awesome. So we're going to start the the the, the stream with this serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. All right. Good prayer. If you guys have any questions at any time, you let me know, okay? So for today's subject, and obviously, like I said, if you have questions, anytime, I'll pause what I'm reading, and then we could talk about it. You know, we can share stuff. So we got two subjects here, okay? The first one is this one here. It says, exchanging love. It's about if we give love because it was freely given to us, new frontiers are open to us as we learn how to love. So I guess it's about how to love. Love can be the flow of life energy from one person to another. So it's very like hippie kind of, reading here. The other one that I have for today is this one here. All right. So intimacy is complicated but worth it. For those of us who use sex as a way to move through the world, it may take quite some time to figure out the difference between being sexual and being intimate. Ugh, what the hell? So you guys can help me choose. Do you want the love one, talking about love, or do you want the intimacy / a sexy one? All right. I'll give you guys some time to think about it. I'm going to do a poll here. How do I do this? Plus, nope. Let's start a poll. Did you or anyone you know had trouble with relationships with or because of addiction or okay, add option. Okay. Yes, I've had problems with my relationships because of drugs. Are there too many characters? Yes. Addiction related. No. Yes. Not addiction related. And no problems with my relationships. Okay, 1 second. It's a nice little all right. Okay. Start the poll. Here we go. Okay, cool. All right. So Jake, I don't know if you saw my the two readings there. So you see that we're going to talk about love, how to love, how we couldn't love an active addiction properly, or about intimacy and I guess sex, and then or love. So you guys can decide. And if you can't seem to decide, I'm gonna flip a coin. I don't have a coin. 1 second. No coins. I'm gonna flip this these pouches. Oh, there's some in there. Nice. Okay, well, here we go. What should be the subject? Give you guys a choice. None of these 5 viewers here. Give me a heads up. Do. Okay, I'm going to give you guys another minute. Another minute to decide. Do. Here we go. Here we go. I'm just going to do something quick here. I'm done for whatever, big guy. All right, well, I guess I'm going to flip a coin. One second. Forgot the name. Well, there you go. Okay, all right. Where's my... Oh, there it is. So, this cover will be love. Bridge. This cover will be sex. Love. Love. We're going to talk about love today. Oh. Hi. Hi, Catherine. Is that you, Catherine? I'm sure it is. Yeah, so what I was saying earlier is that I had two readings I was going to talk about. It was either like intimacy and sex, right? What to make the difference. Or it was this one here. What's that? Or this one here about love. And I tossed a coin, and we're going to talk about love. So here we go. And how it works, for those who just came in, I read this reading. This is from the Just For Today daily meditations. And it's just like little things to make you think on the daily about the recovery program that I'm in, the 12 steps. But it's applicable to a lot of things, to like everyone. That you don't have to be an addict to get some benefits from this. But yes, I'm going to read it. Anytime you have a question, you can just be in the chat, and then I'm going to answer it, and then we can just move on. So here we go. November 4th, 2025. Exchanging Love. Page 322. We give love because it was given so freely to us. New frontiers are open to us as we learn how to love. Love can be the flow of life energy from one person to another. Basic text, page 105. So I guess that this is once you're in further on in recovery, because when we first go into the program, I remember me in my first rehab, my first meetings, or every time I would come back from a relapse, I'm like kind of broken down, right? And then the cool thing is that everywhere I went in those meetings, doesn't matter if it was in Quebec or in Ontario, in the rehab or not, they were members of the program that were giving me free love. They were willing to help me and accept me. So that was good. So they're just saying that here, it's given freely to us, and then as we progress in our life, we gain experience and wisdom. We learn how to love properly, because I think I didn't know how to love properly in the past. 100%, right? So let's keep reading. Love given and love received is the essence of life itself. Yeah, true, right? The essence of life itself. I mean, we are born from love, from the union of our parents. And the baby needs to receive love, and then as you get older, we have a need to love. People, they can say whatever they want, but I think it's in our biology, it's in our DNA, and for sure it's in our spirit and our soul. It is a universal common denominator, connecting us to those around us. There we go. There's addiction comes into play now. Addiction deprives us of that connection, locking us within ourselves. I'm going to say it. I've said it before, but it's a great sentence. They say that addiction is the opposite of connection. Or connection the opposite of addiction. Because, simply put, when I was in active addiction, I was literally running away from the people that love me, which kind of weird, right? My mom loves me unconditionally. I even had like girlfriends in the past. I guess they would love me too. I was running away from them, running away from my family, from my friends that want to support me. I was running away from them because it didn't meet my wants of wanting to do drugs. They were getting in the way of my personal selfish, self-centered desires. So I would be isolating myself so I could do what I want, which was drugs. So it really deprived me of the connection. And it says here locking us within ourselves. Yeah, kind of, right? I created my own problems in my head, couldn't deal with life the way I perceived it in my head, and then I created a prison for myself that I was kind of stuck in it. The only way I could feel good was doing drugs, and then it always ended up I was not feeling good after the drugs were gone. It was worse. So I was really like in a prison. Hell was a state of mind. I was locked in hell every day. Let's keep reading. The love we find in the NA program reopens the world to us. It unlocks the cage of addiction, which is kind of funny because I just said that, the prison, which once imprisoned us. So I said earlier that in the meetings I would find, free love. I would be accepted by the people in NA, and that was kind of the beginning of some connections that I could make that were like healthier, right? Because I would run away from the ones that were healthy in the past, and then some of them became toxic because the relationship I had with drugs was more important. And I would build relationships with like people I would use drugs with, which would be just superficial, right? So once I started a program, it really helped me, unlock the cage. Lalito Frito, hello. He says, I'm so glad I was able to make it just in time. I gave you so much respect for holding this meeting for us to be able to come to. Hey, no problem, man, Lalito. I'm just reading it just for today, and it's about love today, so very important. We're just at the part where we realized that active addiction, we were isolating ourselves, running away from the people we love, because addiction is the opposite of connection, right? And I was creating my own prison cell of pain and suffering that I was doing to myself with my choices. I wanted to feel good with drugs, and then that's the only way I could feel good, and party and whatever, and just distract myself. But then I would always end up feeling worse after. I was stuck in that. Let's keep reading. By receiving love from other NA members, we find out perhaps for the first time what love is and what it can do. That can be applied I think I was only able to love properly once I dealt with my addiction. And I think that is true for me. We hear fellow members talk about the sharing of love, and we sense the substance it lends to their lives. I gotta read that again. We hear fellow members talk about the sharing of love, and we sense the substance it lends to their lives. Okay, so we hear them talking about love, and then we it makes it possible. It's like, okay, if these guys are at peace now, they're able to have good relationships now, they're able to love and stuff, it can mean that also for me, it could be possible for me too, right? I didn't really think that when I got in there. It's because my mind was still had the fog of drug war filtering my perception of reality, and I was seeing life with the opposite of what the rose-colored glasses would be. Hell-colored glasses. I was seeing just a lot of suffering, and I was ashamed. I felt guilty, angry, all that stuff, especially at myself. And then we begin to suspect that if giving and receiving love means so much to others, maybe it can give meaning to our lives too. Kind of what I just said. We sense that we are on the verge of a great discovery, yet we also sense that we won't fully understand the meaning of love unless we give ours away. So maybe the only way to receive love is to give it away also. It's like the recovery program for me. Maybe it's related to love like that. For example, I can only keep my recovery if I spread the message of recovery around. It closes the loop of my recovery. And this can be applied for everything, right? As if you're very successful in something, and then you just stop there, and then you just keep it all to yourself. You didn't finish your success. I think to be really successful and complete and happy, you need to give. You need to help people. You need to try to make the world a better place. Political alchemy says sometimes vulnerability is hard. Yeah, because if we love somebody truly, we are opening ourselves to being hurt. And every time that I chose to love someone, I knew that, but they always hope for the best, and then, you know, you end up getting. I know it's Catherine. I know. Um, um, yeah. So what I was saying is, we once we open ourselves to like giving love, and receiving love, especially receiving, it's like we're also open to receive a lot of pain and be hurt by the other person. So this is why like choosing who we love, and also if it's a healthy love, it's going to be very important. But like I said before, I think it comes hand in hand, sadly. But am I going to deprive myself from love because I'm afraid of being hurt? Then I just will never feel the love that I need. So it's tricky. It's like a double-edged sword in a sense. But I need the sword. I do need the sword to live to survive. All right, let's keep reading. We sense that we are on the verge of a great discovery, yet we also sense that we don't fully understand the meaning of love unless we give ours away. I just said that. We try it and discover the missing connection between ourselves and the world. So that's important here, because my connection between me and the world was tainted by my addiction, by my drug use. I was seeing the world through a lens that was kind of broken. I broke it myself. And how can I really love people and love the world if I don't see the world as it is? You know what I mean? So pretty much like what's been saying so far is that addiction is like messing up my ability to love and receive love, because it's messing up my perception of the world and also the perception of myself. And then it says, today we realize that they said was true. We keep what we have only by giving it away. I said it earlier. Very true. We can only keep what we have by giving it away. So we can only receive love if we're willing to give it away. So that's very interesting. So just for today, life is a new frontier for me, and the vehicle I will use to explore it is love. I will give it freely, the love I have received. Interesting, right? It's like pass it to the next. Pass it to the next person. You receive love, you receive kindness. You can't keep it just for yourself. You have to give it away. You have to pass it on. Very interesting. And that's a good reading. So if you have any questions about that, you can just let me know. But there's another reading too. Maybe we should do both readings, honestly, because they kind of like go hand in hand. Sometimes like I've mistaken, maybe I've tried to replace the love I didn't have as a kid with the external things, and sometimes it was a woman. I would try to get with women because women made me feel good, and I thought that maybe like I was trying to fill the void that the lack of love created with girls and sensations and sex and this and that. So maybe like you guys can ask questions, but I think I'm gonna go to the other reading. All right, here we go. Uh-oh. Intimacy is complicated but worth it. Wow. It seems like a poetical alchemy. This could be for you or for us or for anybody else in the chat. Maybe for Jake Payton. All right, so um, I never thought that in my life I would read a whole text about intimacy and sex online, but I guess we're going to do it. November 4th, intimacy is complicated but worth it. For those of us who use sex as a way to move through the world, it may take quite some time to figure out the difference between being sexual and being intimate. Okay, yeah, so what is the difference? You know, we can have sex without being intimate. You know, I guess you don't kiss, you don't make eye contact or something. You know, so I think it's been done before. You know, just saying. So this is from the Living Clean book, chapter 4, called Plainly Sex. All right. So let's read it's pretty funny. It says here, wait, so sex and intimacy are not the same thing? Question mark. This is news to many of us. All right, well, let's dive into it. What is in news is a complex and often contradictory relationship at play when it comes to our sexual behavior, our addiction, and our capacity for intimacy. Many of us, sex has been a useful tool, a bargaining chip. We've used it as a shield to deflect intimacy rather than experience it. Alright, so maybe some people, they were afraid of intimacy, and right away they would use sex as a shield, because if you right away just do that, you kind of setting the tone that the relationship will just be transactional almost, you know. And then for some people, like escorts and stuff, it was really transactional, right? Melonhead is talking about the Canadian budget. I think this is the wrong stream to talk about the government and weight gain. We're talking about sex here and addiction. Alright, so sex can be intricately entwined with our use of substances that we may need to learn how to have sex without using. Yeah, well, I think when my years of partying, I can really relate to that. It was an adjustment, to say the least, to go without. Will we be able to perform? Will we even enjoy it? How can we fulfill our sexual desires without taking advantage of others or putting ourselves at risk for the same? Wow. All right. Yeah, I was in some risky situations in the past regarding that. And I didn't really think, honestly. I was just thinking that I had like these feelings and I needed them to be done, that had desires and wants, and it was like it involved drugs and women and stuff like that. And it's all I cared about. You know, it was part of my addiction. I was addicted to drugs, but also like to what I was doing on drugs. Obviously, they would go hand in hand. I would never just go do drugs and like sit in my apartment by myself doing nothing. You know what I mean? That wasn't what I was doing. Learning how to have sex clean is one thing. Being intimate with others in a non-sexual context is another. Oh. See that? They just said that intimacy can be non-sexual. Okay. So maybe like being close to someone emotionally, that's what intimacy is. So it would be kind of smart for us to be intimate before even trying to like have sex and stuff. Melonhead says, I found drugs and sex clouded the feeling. Yeah, I mean, you talk about like your emotions. Let's say if you're feeling sad or angry, you would go do drugs and have sex, and then you don't think about it. I think, yeah, I think you're right. It was like that for me for sure. Yes, yeah, Melonhead. I hear ya. So, okay, so let's keep reading. True intimacy requires mutual honesty and willingness from all involved parties, quite literally, bearing our souls instead of bearing our bodies. Whoa. So I guess when you look at it like that, you know how people can have one night stands when they have sex and stuff. Well, it seems like you can't have a one night intimacy, because bearing your soul, you can't do that with everyone. Right? You can only do that with like your very special person. I'm lucky I found it. I found mine. It's my wife over there. She's eating chips. She's eating chips in the living room. But like, I'm very happy that I found my person that I can bare my soul with. But I had to stop doing all the other shit that I was doing so I could actually put myself out there in the universe to receive that. Because you put out what you get, right? You know, like we talk about love in the other text where you can only receive love if you give it out, but you can also receive other things. So if you're putting something out there, you'll receive that. You know, now we're getting more in the woo woo type of spiritual stuff, but it might be true though, right? If you're putting out there that you just want to have sex, you'll just get sex, or you'll never have a good relationship. You know, like if you're a woman or even a man, like you go on a date and then you give your body away so easily, you're only gonna get that. So if you're going on a date to find your husband or wife, and then you're right away you're having sex, it probably will go nowhere. You know, you gotta build intimacy first, and that's like, it's not overnight. It's not done in a one night stand. And when did they say one night stand? You're not even standing. You're kind of in the bed, laying down. I mean, at least the girl's laying down or something. Anyways, yeah. So it says after that, how on earth do we approach this? It's overwhelming. And who says we even want intimacy anyway? Is that a requirement for staying clean? Clean off drugs? Yeah, I guess maybe I don't know. Do we want intimacy? Does everyone want intimacy? I mean, everyone wants to be loved. So I guess it's like a kind of, yeah. I mean, let's see what they say here. We approach this jumbled human mess with patience for ourselves, no matter how long we have clean. We approach it with some resolve to understand and communicate our desires and our truths. And, if possible, we approach it with the understanding that our relationship to sex and intimacy will continue to evolve as we mature in our recovery and grow older. And you know when it says recovery in the text, and for me, recovery means like recovery from drug addiction, right? I'm always recovering every day. It's a never-ending task. I'll never be recovered, because the day I think I'm recovered, then, for example, if you're allergic to peanuts, and one day you're cured, you're gonna be able to eat peanuts and not have an allergic reaction. Well, for me, I'm allergic to drugs, and I'll never be cured. So if I think I'm cured but I'm not, and then I do drugs again, I'll have my allergic reaction to drugs again. And you might ask yourself, what is my allergic reaction to drugs? Well, I just can't stop. I want more and more and more, and do crazier and crazier things, and keep going, and I can't stop until something bad happens, or I'm in like in the big pickle, and I'm like, oh my god, and I always stop too late. Melonhead is saying, well, intimacy is very hard when we are not clean. It clouds judgment and masks feelings, and I am not sure that works for a sex addiction. Makes me wonder actually. Well, sex addiction, it's pretty simple. Instead of using drugs to like do the dopamine in your brain, people, they just use other people. They just use sex to like avoid and escape, right? So people can use food as an addiction, right? So that's how it works. You can cloud your mind with sex. You can cloud your mind with food. You can cloud your mind with doom scrolling Instagram, with Netflix, and all that type of stuff. You know, you can just distract yourself. You're feeling pain, and then you're using something else to mask the pain and try to keep going and make yourself feel better without actually doing work on yourself to deal with the actual pain inside of you. You know? So it doesn't matter what your vice is. If it's a drug or not, you will be addicted, and it will do its thing. You know, like gambling is another one. People get really high on gambling. Their brains are going wild and crazy in there. You know, when they do the slot machines and it's all the lights and they think they're winning and this and that. It's a drug in itself, right? But it says here, like in our recovery and grow older, we evolve, right? But to do that, we actually have to get better, right? We have to make some effort. If we just get older, like me, if I did no rehab, no program, nothing, first of all, I would be homeless and a mess, maybe dead, probably. Like I don't want to say that because it's scary, but I would have probably been dead. So I would have not grown older. But some people are like that drink. They can drink for years and years and years, and then it's a slow but rapid decline at the end. Their body starts falling down. The relationships are down. They're just drunks all the time. It's terrible, you know. Alcoholism is bad because you kind of like unless you have an accident or something, it will drag you on forever. You know, if you take opiates, you can have an overdose in you as soon as you start doing it. People die a lot in their 20s. They don't make it too far, right? So we need to like mature and get older, but also like get clean. The alcohol is like it's pretty crazy because people are still advertising alcohol on podcasts and things like that, and it's like, I mean, I don't think you need to advertise it. People are already doing it a lot, you know. But I guess companies, it's not illegal, so whatever. Gambling is the same thing, right? But the thing is, like, would I make the whole world change just because I am an addict with a bunch of other people? Most people are fine with stuff. It's just that 1% or whatever it is. Like, I wonder what's the percentage of people addicted. Let's ask chat. What is the percentage of people addicted to something in the world that is actually very harmful to the health and mental health and relationship? How's that? Because cigarettes it doesn't really like ruin lives, right? I mean, yeah, kind of, but okay, so just under 1%, or sometimes with alcohol is 2%. So let's say 2%. I think 2%. So 1 in 45 people. Hey, that's pretty crazy. So 1 in 45 people are actually addicted to something. I mean, yeah, you're right, Melonhead. I think the weed has some warnings on it, but yeah, alcohol you don't see it. They even like now they have like warnings on some candy I saw with sugar, but alcohol for some reason they're kind of being spared. I guess is with lobbying and things like that. I mean, 1 in 45. It's like the thing is like Jake. I don't know if you're around like a lot of like people like me and I think like there's a lot of people. Maybe it's more than 1 out of 45. Because I do go to all the meetings. There's always somebody knowing someone, but like we know more than 45 people, right? For example, like if you talk to if you ask one of your friends, how many people do you know are addicted? Are they gonna name like 3 people, or are they gonna name 1? And then how many people do they know? Do they know like 100 people? 1 in 45 is still a lot. Like, for example, if you're in the United States, Canada, let's say Canada is like 35, 40 million, I don't know. It means that 1 million people are addicted to drugs. It's a lot of people. But yeah, you're right. I don't know. Does it seem like it does seem low because I'm around it. I hear about it a lot because of my meetings and stuff. So maybe I'm biased, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, there's a lot of people who are addicted, right? So yeah, we approach this jumbled human mess with patience for ourselves, no matter how long we have clean. We approach it with some resolve to understand and communicate our desires and our truths. And if possible, we approach it with the understanding that our relationship to sex and intimacy will continue to evolve as we mature in our recovery and grow older. And then it says, intimacy is complicated. I can't possibly figure it out today. That's nice. You know? Sometimes if you're confused about anything, right? There's never like a huge problem that you have you have to figure out today, So it's kind of a relief. It doesn't have to be today. You deal with it. You try to do your best. But if you didn't figure it out by the end of the day, it's okay. You don't have to hate yourself. You don't have to feel guilty. You don't have to be ashamed. For me, it's like as long as I've had like some things happening recently with like business stuff, and I was super frustrated. I was super angry, but I was angry because I was not doing anything about it and complaining about it. And then when I started taking steps towards it, I started feeling better. It wasn't fixed. It's not even fixed right now, the thing I'm talking about. But as soon as I made steps and I had a direction I was going and a plan, well, and that I could rely on myself, it's like I started feeling better. So whatever it is that's going on in your life that's giving you a hard time, as long as you're making steps to get better, it doesn't matter if it's today that don't stress. Sometimes it's like, oh my god, I'm so and so. I feel like this and this and that. I don't like the way I look. I don't have a lot of money. This and that, and the world's out to get me. I'm a victim. This, that. Okay, but you're gonna feel really, really bad if you really think that, and then you're not doing anything about it. You will feel better if you're doing something about it, step by step, day by day. Melonhead question. Did you find the first few months of recovery you were pissed off? Dude. Okay, so every time I would go to rehab, a lot of the time I would go and I was like pretty much high or like just like freshly off the streets. And I would sleep for 5 days. I would be really like, recovering from my lack of sleep and crazy partying. And then I would wake up. I would be so angry for at least like 3 to 4 weeks. 4 weeks. A whole month. I was hating myself so much that it was bleeding through, and was bleeding through the other people. So like I was so angry against myself, but then I would lash out against the institution, against the counselors, against anything that it's like a. So yes, maybe not the first few months, but like after 4 weeks, I could like smile sometimes. And then as I worked on my program and as I worked towards my goal of coming back, obviously bodybuilding helped me out. I had a goal in mind to come back to bodybuilding. As soon as I was making these steps, I was starting to feel better and better. And when you work hard and you do something that's hard, even though you don't want to do it, and then you accomplish it, or you're working towards your goal and you see in progress. This is what adds back self-esteem and is making you proud. So I was getting more. My self-esteem towards myself was getting better, right? I always knew I was capable of good things, but I didn't have a lot of esteem for myself in a sense that I didn't think I was worth a lot because I just lost everything again. Like because I did 5 rehabs, right? So you don't think after the first one I was like when I messed up I was feeling really bad. After a while I told myself I would stop, couldn't stop, went to rehab because of that, and then I thought I was good. Then 3 days later I relapsed. That was the first time. Imagine after I fail after the second, third, fourth, how much I hated myself, and I was like really angry. Like, why did I do this? Why did I do that? Because after the first one, you're an addict. I knew I was an addict. I knew I had a problem. I knew I wasn't supposed to do drugs, and I knew I had a program to do, and then I would still do it anyway. In heightened emotion, I wouldn't care about anything. And then I would pig out on drugs, binge on drugs. I would tell myself I'll just do a little bit, and then a little bit became 2 months in a row. You know what I mean? Things like that. Chuck E. Cheese Ranch says, do you get post-show depression, which is common after a big goal? Well, or you practice gratitude to regain perspective. If I think in the past, I started to get really heavily into drugs after I won my pro card, but it's just because I was hurt from the relationship I had, and then I quit my job. I was single and 25 and in super shape, and I pretty much like thought I was entitled to like party and I deserved it to celebrate, and then it just went crazy because I had no more schedule, right? So there is not that I didn't really have depression after a show ever. It's more like all the structure I had that kept me on the line is gone now because I don't have a fixed date, and that didn't help me in the past. It didn't help me because a lot of times I would stop partying just because I had a show, and then as soon as the show would be done, you'd be like, "Yeah, party time." You know what I mean? But I do feel like lost. I remember every time I do a show, it's like it's the day after, and I'm like, okay, what the fuck do I eat now? What do I do? Right? So, not that it gave me depression, because I'm not a guy that would never been really depressed unless I'm like coming off drugs. But yeah, sometimes it's been hard after a show because there's no more structure, and structure really helps me stay on track. So that's how it is for me. Jota says, Antoine, biggest man. Thank you. Yeah, no problem, Metalhead. Glad it helps. All right, this other sentence here. So intimacy is complicated, and I can't possibly figure it out today. Instead, I will focus on getting to know myself and being considerate of others. I'll aim to practice spiritual principles in my sexual affairs too. I like how they throw that in. That's hilarious. Spiritual principles. I guess that could be like having boundaries, things like that. Not giving yourself away too easily. Self-respect. There's a lot of spiritual principle out there. They have like 12 spiritual principles. Spiritual principles in the NA. There's actually a whole like list, like the 12 steps. There's also the 12 principles of NA. I guess I would have to look at those and try to match it with like sex and stuff, but you guys get the gist of it, right? If you act a certain way at work, when they say we have to practice the principles in all our affairs, it means if you're nice at work, you can't be a dick at home. If you're nice to like your coworkers, but you're a dick to your kids and your family, that you're not living in a spiritual principle kind of way. You can't do like that's not the way to do it. I mean, I'm not saying your guys are doing that. I'm saying you. I should be saying I. Talk with an I statement. If I would be nice just to my friends, but to my family I would be mean, I would not be living in the spiritual way. It would be kind of fake, right? I'm faking it with my friends, and I'm the real dick with my family. So it's not about the personalities, it's about the principles. It's kind of what Jesus was doing in the past, right? He was nice to the good people, but he was also nice to the sick, to the prostitutes, to the criminals, to everyone. So that's living aligned with your spiritual principles. To spread love and stuff. You want to go back to love, the other reading we did, right? So I think it's like even with sex, we have to like be aligned with our spiritual principles. Maybe that's the only way we don't feel guilt and shame after, right? Because a lot of times, unless I was on drugs, I would feel if I would just sleep with someone I didn't know, really, or just a friend or whatever it was you want to call it, right? Benefit stuff. I would never really feel like 100% like happy with the decision I made. I was never like, oh, this was a great idea. No, it never was. Like I wish that I wish she didn't come to my place where I was home, So I didn't apply spiritual principles properly back then. And then when you love someone, you never feel bad after. It's like it just makes sense, right? That's my experience anyway. I'll aim to practice spiritual principles of my sexual affairs too. All right, well, cool. Well, do you guys have any questions regarding that? It's a pretty weird subject. It's like I don't really like talking about sex for freaking like 51 minutes here, but I guess that's why maybe we had to talk about that. Like, and even if there's some men in the chat there, it's like, when do you hear somebody talk about that stuff in that way? we always just to say, hey, look at this girl's ass at the gym or something. Next thing I do this, wife. But yeah. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Jake Payton says, I just got done with a 13-week cut. So I've been partying with chips, pizza, and ice cream bars. Yay, that's better than crack. Better than crack and cocaine. But yeah, just don't go overboard because you might feel guilty and ashamed after and just feel bad physically and stuff like that. But you can celebrate a little bit. I mean, food is food, man. It's like, at some point, it's like, okay, I can't have drugs. I can't, whatever it is, right? It's like, what else is there? I guess coffee. That's not coffee, that's Diet Root beer, but. I mean, sometimes it's like, if you're depriving yourself from everything, it's like all the time, it's like, you know, are you even living? But then I can't use that as an excuse to do drugs either. It's like, I need to really look at my motives, because sometimes my brain is really good at justifying certain behaviors, especially in the past with drugs. Now there's no way I could justify doing drugs anymore because I know I'm an addict, right? I'm honest with myself. There's no way I can drink. There's no way I can do any type of drugs, right? Yes, lost my chain of thought. Melonhead says, sugar is so addicting. LOL, I quit heroin, but sugar is way harder. I mean, it's harder because it's not killing you, and it's everywhere, and it does feel good in the mouth pleasure. But there's some like subtle, and sometimes not subtle if you're gaining a lot of fat, ways that it's going to really hurt your health and stuff. And a lot of people can really binge eat and feel bad afterwards. This happens a lot, you know, especially to women sometimes, but also men. It's like they'll be sad. Somebody will like hurt them emotionally at school or whatever. And they'll go home and they'll just like go in bed and eat ice cream and stuff. It's like, it's kind of sad, you know, but they're just trying to cope with like a bad feeling. If they're just trying to cope with pain also. So sugar is also a drug that can do that, right? And then if somebody wants to stop doing that, because, you know, so if you do it once, it's okay, it's not bad. But if you start doing it 2 times, okay, now the brain is like making some new patterns, new connections in your head. If you do it the 3rd time, there's a really high chance you'll do it a 4th time. If you've done a bad behavior 3 times, there's a really high chance of doing it like a 4th time. If you do it just once, maybe there's a 50% chance of doing it a 2nd time. But if you do it twice, maybe there's a 80% chance of doing it a 3rd time. Then if you do it 3 times, 99% chance of doing it a 4th time. You know what I mean? These are not real numbers, but this is how it feels, pretty much. I'm sure we could come out with like real numbers, like what are the chances of repeating bad behavior habit like something addicting when you do it 1 time, 2, 3, 4, and 4, etc. All right, let's see what they come up with. Why repetition increase the likelihood of habit formation or addiction? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna share this, and then I'm gonna put that on the screen. It's pretty interesting. Link. Oh, there we go. There it is. That's good, guys. That's cool. Okay, one sec. Okay. Bear with me. I like that. Let's do this, and then this one here. I'm narrating myself. Okay, cool. All right, guys. Can you guys see this? Yes, you can. Boing. Why repetition increases the likelihood of habit formation or addiction. This is more like we're getting more in the technical type of thing, in science maybe. You know what I mean? Melonhead, they have not Sugar Anonymous, but they do have like Overeaters Anonymous. It's called OA, and it helps a lot of people. It's also 12-step based. Okay, so let's read this. Why repetition increases the likelihood of habit formation or addiction. Each time you repeat a behavior, especially one that gives you pleasure, relief, escape, or stimulation, your brain strengthens the neural pathway associated with it. This is how habits and addictions form. One time, you have a very low dependence. Your chance of repeating depends on mainly on your emotional reaction and access to the behavior. Could be a one-off. Two times, behavior now has been reinforced already. If the second time is also rewarding, you're starting to form a pattern. So I guess you just need to do it two times for your brain to form a pattern, right? Your brain starts taking the action with positive outcomes, dopamine reinforcement. This is why sex also can be addictive, right? Sex and food and everything. And the thing is, of course you eat more than two times in your life. But that's the thing. If you eat sugar, like if the first two times you eat sugar and if it feels good in your head, well, this is why a lot of people are addicted to sugar. It's like you can't even avoid that substance, ever. Three times. You're forming a habit loop. Trigger, behavior, reward. Even if you don't consciously crave it, your brain is now starting to automatically think of it as an option when triggered. Greg Savoy is saying, I'm an all-around addict. I binge on drugs and alcohol. Stop the drugs, then it's food, especially junk food. Yeah, Greg, I hear you. Are you in a recovery program? Because the only way for me to like stop the patterns is that I had to really like learn a new way to live and deal with life on life's terms. So when life was triggering me, I was able to like cope with it without external things. 4 times, it says here, the behavior becomes easier, faster, and more automatically chosen. And I like how it says automatically, because a lot of times I would want to do drugs, and then I would go on autopilot, find the drugs, text the dealer, get in my car, and like it was automatic, like I was a robot, getting all the way to the dealer, getting it, and then doing it, like on autopilot. And then it's like, oh shit, I guess I'm back on drugs now. Fuck it, you know? Your risk of repetition goes up exponentially, not linearly. Oh, see that? When I said it was 99%, it's pretty much what it is. This is where it can feel like you're pulled into doing something, doing it. Yes. Pulled. Like the devil has its claws around your legs and pulling you into the deep sea of addiction. Deep into hell and below. They want to scare you, but that's how it felt sometimes. So for non-addicts, it'll take more times to reinforce the habit, like a 24 plus, but addicts only take half a dozen. I feel like it took more for me, even though I'm an addict. Maybe, you know, maybe. All right, so let's I'll pull out the other one here. Poof, 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 poof. This is pretty interesting because it talks about the actual like percentages is what I asked. Very roughly, the chance of doing it again can be viewed like this: the number of times tried versus estimated likelihood of repeating if behavior was rewarding. 1 time, 30 to 40% chance of redoing it. 2 times, 50 to 60% chance of redoing it. 3 times, 70 to 80% of redoing it. 4 plus times, 85% plus chance of habits, of doing it, habit forming or addictive pattern developing. And it says these are illustrative, not exact. Real world numbers vary based on behavior type. So I remember when I did like the my drug of choice, and the first time I did it, the way I did it, I was like, okay, I was kind of like not sure, like just like it was weird, but then I combined it with with girls, and right away, I didn't need fucking 4 plus times. It was that one time. It was like, this is it. Nothing else is like, everything else is obsolete now. Doing pills is obsolete. Alcohol is obsolete. All this shit was just like, didn't work anymore for me. You know what I mean? So some people maybe it takes 4 plus times. Me, like when I really found the right combination, bang, right away, it was done. But yeah, the more you do bad behavior, the more you the likelihood you'll repeat that behavior and be addicted to it, especially if it's like you get triggered by something, you hate your job, you go home, because you hate your job, you're feeling bad, and then you will have a behavior of eating cookies or smoking a joint or doing rails of whatever, crack, cocaine, and then there's a reward, which is feeling good. You do that enough times, you'll be addicted, whatever the substance or the habit is. All right? Okay, and now we're in. Well, my friends, hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. And if you have any questions, I'm going to be on for another 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and I can, can talk about whatever. So let's see I did a poll here. It says, did you have trouble with relationships because of addiction? Or 33% said yes, addiction related, and 40% not addiction related. And then 27%, good for you guys, no problems with my relationships. That's great. I've had a lot of problems with my relationships. All of them were affected by my drug use, right? So, but not anymore. Now it's good. Now I'm really happy with everything. Greg Savoy says, I was in a recovery house for a month. Now I'm back home and back to work. I go to NA meetings. Good? Yeah, I go to NA meetings too still. That's good. The more you can go, man, like, because I really did the 90 and 90. After my last rehab, the day I left the rehab at 2 p.m., I was in Port Hope or something, 3 hours away, and then I drove all the way to Burlington or whatever it was, and and then I went straight to a meeting at 7 p.m. the same day. And then I did 90 meetings in 90 days. They did have meetings on Sundays around Burlington back then. So I would go twice on Saturday. I would go twice Saturday, 9:30 a.m. and then also 7 p.m. in Oakville. So I suggest doing that if you can. I know you're working and stuff, but I think being clean is really, really important. It is for me. My priority is this: staying clean, and then the rest. Because if I'm not clean, I lose the rest. That's how I am. All right. Well. Thanks, Jake. Hope you guys are good. 10:09 p.m. Do I have some time to play some video games? It's a little bit rewarding, but not really. Yeah, maybe. But Chuck E. Cheese says, whoa, another Greg with 3 G's. Maxwell name along with Greg Valentino. 3, yeah, I guess there is 3 G's. I don't know why in my head 3 G's means there's 3 G's at the end. Greg. But yeah, hey, thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for everybody who stayed for a while, and and thank you. If you guys want to support the stream, actually, you can become. I put a member thing. You can become a member, and then it helps me with all that stuff. I think I got 1 or 2 members now. You get cool emojis. You get special emojis. You get a little hammer beside your name, hammer wielder. So it's pretty cool. And you guys can also send. What is this button here? Yeah, you can send super stickers, super chat. You can gift memberships to other people too. If you want to give a membership to another person, it's like Twitch stuff, right? A little bit, but I have a Twitch too, but honestly, I've been doing this recovery one every week instead. And I guess maybe twice this week. I just feel it more rewarding, and I get a little bit more interactions, a little bit more viewers here, even though it's not a lot of viewers, just 7, but I've always said that even if I'm helping just one person per stream, that's a whole life in itself. Well, let's say, who said that I helped today? Melonhead said earlier that I helped him out. But look, I spent an hour of my time rambling about addiction and love and sex, I guess, and just recovery. And I helped Melonhead. It's a funny name. I helped Melonhead. And Melonhead has a whole life of its own. Being born, going through all this shit, having all his own experiences. All right? It's a whole, like the life you have, Hussam, and the life I have, it's a whole life complicated with lots of tribulations and stuff. Well, Melonhead has his own whole life like that. Everybody else in the world has their whole world happening for them, kind of thing, right? So if I can help one person per stream, one person's life, that's fucking crazy. Because life is crazy for every one of us. We have our own life that's crazy. So if I can help one person with their own life, if it's just a little bit, that's huge because their life is huge. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. But that's why I do it. Even though I have like 7 viewers or something, if I compare it to like other streamers or my Instagram posts get more traction, for example, I don't care because this is way more meaningful than me getting likes because I'm shirtless and I look good in a picture or something. You know what I mean? All right. I know you get it, bro. Jake Payton gets it. Usam says, all you, please take good care of yourself. I hope the best of you in all this life and the next. Thanks, Usam. Mashallah. Alhamdulillah. So, yeah, anyways, guys, thanks. Serenity prayer. All right? And before that, we could take a small moment of silence and think, you know, for all the suffering people out there, the addicts and non-addicts who are struggling and probably need this help. We can think about them in this moment of silence, and then we'll do this serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Boom. Here we go. Yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to use my platform for good. There's so much like weird shit content out there. Like I'm seeing maybe I have to reset my algorithm. I'm seeing people get shot like every day almost now. Like what the hell? I didn't ask for this. You know, people getting murdered on my Instagram. Come on, man. Like, can I just see like some cool stuff? I see some cool stuff too, but it's like it's mixed, right? So this is why like I think stuff like that is good. It's like it's only positive. Oh, thanks, Jared. Jared Galloway, out of the blue, with a nice comment. Thanks. But yeah, this is why I do it. You know, makes a little bit better. Make the world a little bit better. You know, the goal would be to keep doing that, even if it's just a little bit. I'll always want to do it forever, week by week, day by day, year by year, and maybe someday we'll grow into something and help even more people. I mean, you guys can share to your addict friends and recovery. Hey, there's this guy who does this live stream every week. You know, follow him and stay tuned, and then you know, maybe get some recovery. And also, if you want to be notified every time I go online, you can just click the bell button. You know, you subscribe to the channel, click the bell button, and if I go online, you'll get a push notification on your phone. I know they're annoying, but if you don't have a huge YouTube, you know, it's could be helpful to know when I'm on if you guys want. If not, you just look at my Instagram. I always do in the stories, you know, when I'm going to do it next. And I'm going to do it next Saturday. I'll do it Saturday night, 9 p.m. Yeah. Yeah, Jared says that life is hard when sober, but it's worth it. I appreciate all of you. I will give you guys, once again, where's my thing here? No. No. Whoops. Escape. Where's my, there it is. Create invite. There we go. Copy. All right, this is my Discord where, you know, addiction recovery stuff. It's pretty calm, but like if you guys want to talk to each other, even when I'm not there, it's on my screen all the time on my computer, so I check it. If you guys want to chat, you know, it's there. I also have this whole other like channels in there, like general bodybuilding, nutrition, AMA, gaming, music stuff. You know, I don't post too much, but you know, I post sometimes. But yeah, hey, thanks everyone for watching. This was good. I'm gonna go eat and relax a little bit. Stay tuned for the next one. It's going to be Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. All right. See ya.